When I started working with the Obama campaign, I knew that I was going to be doing something that I love to do, working in politics and talking about political issues with others. I had always been interested in politics, but I think I really began to love it after the election of 2000, when Al Gore conceded after losing Florida, and my dad said, "Son, the world is going to be a different place when you grow up," and I don't mean that in a good way. But I had no idea how much I would change after working on the campaign. Working for a campaign is all about the four ways. Volunteers must spread the truth about their candidate and be fair to all considered to get people's votes. By working with others, many people like myself build strong relationships with other volunteers. And of course, spreading your candidate's views to others is beneficial to all concerned, because it gets the people you speak with involved with the democratic process of voting. I honestly believe I could write a novel about all the people I met, the places I went, and the things I saw. These are just some of the more interesting stories. One day I was trying to find volunteers for the campaign, and it was Market Square Days in Concord. I chanced upon this middle-aged man wearing a plaid shirt and jeans. I went through the whole spiel that I always did every time I met a stranger at the fair. "Hey, my name is Noah Rogers, and I'm working with the Barack Obama campaign. Would you like a sticker?" If they accepted it, they obviously liked it. So then, if it seemed appropriate, I would ask, "You seem to like Obama. Have you ever thought about volunteering for the campaign?" It was supposed to be just a simple yes or no question. The secret was to leave the person with no other choices. That way, you could quickly figure out if it was someone you should really spend some time with, or make a quick getaway. At the time, it had always worked, until I met this guy. When I asked him about the sticker, he said, "Son, let me tell you something." I've met a few people before to say that to me, and the conversation always turned very sour afterwards, so I braced myself for what he was about to say. He then said, "Son, are you a follower of the Lord?" I should have stopped right there, but I did it for two reasons. First, I wanted to see if I could still get his vote. The second reason was he seemed like the type of guy who might pull out some sharp object and try to shake me. So I said, "Yes." Then he asked, "But do you believe in evolution?" I tried to dance around this by saying something to the fact that I believe in the possibility of it. He said that's where I was wrong. He then explained to me that in 10 years, Jesus would descend from heaven, take over the earth, and rule over his disciples. So we don't need a president. I could see in the background some people beginning to listen to the conversation, which they must have thought was very interesting. So I said to him, "Sir, that's going to happen in 10 years. We need a president right now, so could you please just vote for Obama?" After that, he just walked away, probably praying to God to show me the light. Now, with the negative encounters I've had, this is one of the less offensive. I also had people tell me that Obama was a terrorist, an alien, a fascist, and some other things that I can't repeat. During some of these conversations, it was very hard to be polite. But when conversations that were just played on like this one, I realized being as open as possible was the best tactic. Otherwise, the conversation could get a whole lot worse. And maybe, just maybe, I got another poker by being polite and neutral. Without realizing it, I applied the four-way test. I was truthful, fair, sought to spread goodwill, and have my work bring benefit to all. Another important event that taught me a lot about life and people was when I went to the Old Home Days in Chichester, which is my hometown. If you've never been to an Old Home Days, it's something like a small town fair that happens during the summer. It has a town parade, funny games, and then fireworks at the end. I was sent out alone to go to the town and try to get volunteers. I thought it was going to be easy because I thought that there were many Obama supporters in town. And since my town is so small and people know each other pretty well, I thought it would be easy to convince people to help out the campaign. That's where I was wrong. I went to the fair from the beginning around 7 o'clock a.m. And after marching in the parade with Sally Kelly, a Democratic representative from Chichester, I worked until around 4 in the afternoon. The whole time I was there, I only had about 30 or 40 people out of the maybe 300 people who were there say that they were Obama supporters. And only one person offered to volunteer. Afterwards, I found out that when the Obama campaign tried to contact the man, he said he couldn't help anyways. So I was totally unsuccessful at finding any volunteers in my own town. I felt like I had failed. But I look back at it now and realize that while I did not achieve what I wanted to, I did represent myself and my candidate well and passed the four-way test, ultimately an achievement in itself. I wish I could say that was always the case, but later during a phone call drive, a man from Epsom taught me the most important lesson that I learned from the Obama campaign. I was not trying to find volunteers this time, but just trying to see how they would vote. So I did this spiel that I always did when I asked somebody how they're going to vote. Hey, my name is Noah Rogers, and I'm working with the Barack Obama campaign. I would just like to ask you a few quick questions about how you're going to vote this election. He responded with, what, that? And then he said a racial slur that everybody knows never to say. I knew what he had said, but I said, excuse me? Then he said, that Muslim terrorist, the guy you're working for. The conversation went on for about 3 to 4 minutes, but it seemed like it went on forever. It ended with us swearing at each other and me hanging up on him. And to this day, I honestly regret doing that. I totally violated the 4-way test. I was truthful and tried to be fair at the beginning, but I lost my temper and broke all 4 ways. Sure, that guy was the rudest, most ignorant man I've ever talked to, but I felt like I had let down myself and the people in the campaign. Any momentary satisfaction that I got from yelling at the man was quickly lost. If Obama had not won the election, I would have obviously been very disappointed about the election results. But I know it would have not changed my opinion about how important the experience this was to me. As Rudy Giuliani said at the Republican National Convention, this was one of the most important elections in our lifetime. I'm happy that Obama acknowledged the importance of his volunteers in his victory speech. And although I played a small role in his campaign, I know that I helped get the first African American president